begun the recording. Can you confirm that that is the case?
Yes.
Samuel, Jacob, and Oscar have begun the recording. Is that the case?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, over to you, Major. And you guys enjoy your knowledge check 1 and knowledge check 2. And with that, when knowledge check 2 is over, you will know that we are so through with what? With networking, connectivity, and content delivery. Done and dusted. True or false, Jacob?
True.
Okay, over to you, Major.
Okay, thank you, Terence. So let's begin and test what we have retained regarding networking, because they say education is what you remember after you got all that you learned. So question 1. Okay, who will take it?
I will start, and then I think we follow through. Okay. So the first question states how does AWS Direct Connect differ from a VPN connection? So option 1, AWS Direct Connect can be configured in minutes. AWS Connect uses dedicated private network connection between you and the internet and AWS VPC. AWS Connect, Direct Connect can tolerate inherent variability in the internet-based connectivity. AWS Direct Connect utilizes IPsec to establish encrypted network connectivity between your internet and the AWS VPC over the internet. So, so, so I think I will go with uh, I'll go with option number 2.
AWS Connect uses dedicated private connection between your internet and Amazon VPC.
Yep.
So, Oscar and Sam, you agree or we move?
No contention.
Okay, so let's say answer. Next one.
Okay, so I think Oscar can take on the next question. Oscar, are you there? Or I read for you.
I think Oscar said he's going to drop out for a minute or something. He dropped test.
Okay, Samuel, carry on. We move on.
Yeah.
Which of the following should be followed before connecting to Amazon Virtual Private Cloud, Amazon VPC, using AWS Direct Connect? A. Provide the public autonomous system number ASN to identify your network on internet. B. Provide a public IP address for each border gateway protocol BGP session. C. Create a virtual private gateway and attach it to a virtual private cloud. And D. Provide a public route that you will advise over border gateway protocol BGP. I will say C.
C for cat. Create a virtual private gateway to attach it to your virtual private cloud. So, Isaac, you in agreement we move?
Yeah, we can move on.
Okay, next question.
Next question is: a client wants a connection between the VPC and other AWS services, including S3, DynamoDB, without availability concerns or bandwidth constraints. They don't want VPN connections because of bandwidth limitations and don't want to incur expenses of direct connect. What AWS solution would meet the client's requirement? Not gateways, not network load balancers, transit gateways, and VPC endpoints. I'll go with VPC endpoints. Major, I'm going with VPC endpoints. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
I
you,
can
Jacob.
hear
Sorry,
you.
there was a phone call here. Hilda called me. So you say which option?
I'm going with the VPC endpoints.
Or VPC endpoints?
Yep.
Okay, Sam, you're in agreement?
Yes, no charges.
Okay, we move. The next one.
Samuel, you can take on.
Yeah. When you add a new VPC into an architecture that uses an AWS transit gateway, what must you do to enable it to communicate with your other VPC? A. Simply update your subnet route table with the new VPC. B. Connect the new VPC to the transit gateway and update your subnet route table. C. Create transit gateway pairing between connection between region and assign an AWS account to each one. B and D. Create a bastion host in a private subnet, connect it to your backend instance, and then connect the new VPC to it. Okay, let's see. Yeah. I will go with A.
Okay, simply update your subnet route table with the new VPC. All in agreement?
Yes. I think we can go to the next. Olu, if you are ready, you can take on the next question. Olu, are you there? If you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, so I think Olu is not responding. Let me read the question. Which statement regarding VPC peering is correct? VPC A can communicate with VPC B through their peering connection with VPC C. VPCs are overlapping said engines can be established. The peering VPC can have peering connections with VPC A and VPC B, and when VPC A and VPC B have identical side ranges, VPCs with identical side range blocks can establish can establish a peering connection. I think I'll go with the last option. VPC with identical sided blocks can establish.
Okay, we move.
Yeah. Sam, if you're in agreement, you can read the next question.
Which statement about AWS Direct Connect is correct? A. Direct Connect establish encrypted network connectivity between your intranet and Amazon VPC over the internet. B. AWS Direct Connect is a good solution if you have low modest bandwidth requirement. C. AWS Direct Connect does not involve the internet and use dedicated private network connection between your intranet and Amazon VPC. D. AWS Direct Connect is a good solution if you can tolerate inherent variability in internet-based connectivity. I will go with C. I will go with C.
In agreement, we move.
Okay, we move. So the question 7 goes: when provisioning the AWS infrastructure needed to support your resources inside your VPC, you will probably also want to stand to secure access to backend servers, which you will place in a private subnet. direct, 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 AWS Direct Connect, EC2 instances connect endpoint, and NAT gateway, VPN, AWS site-to-site VPN. Okay. Provisioning. You probably. So I'll go with C, NAT gateway.
Okay, all in agreement?
Yes.
Okay, so I think I can read for Olu and you respond on chat because he's saying he cannot speak. Olu, you can confirm on chat. I just read for you the question and give you answer. So which statements about security groups and network access control list are correct? We have to choose two. Security groups control inbound and outbound traffic for instances. Security groups control inbound and outbound traffic for instances and for your subnets. Security groups control inbound and outbound traffic for your instances and outbound traffic for your subnets. Network control and NACs control inbound and outbound traffic for your subnets. So although if you can give us your answers via chat. So he says A and D. So the first one and the last one here. Good. So we have Hilda and Kevin. So maybe we can start with Hilda. Take on the next question, if there are no conditions of the previous question.
Okay. To meet the needs of one of your on-premises applications, you decide to increase data transfer speeds from your site to AWS by implementing AWS Direct Connect. What are two components that you will need to properly implement AWS Direct Connect? Choose two answers. A connection, a virtual link, a link parameters, a virtual interface.
Hilda, you can give us your two answers and then you can do a educated guess.
A connection and a virtual interface.
Are in agreement to move?
I think we can move.
Okay. Next one.
We have Kevin. If you are valuable, you can unmute and then read the question and then choose the two answers, the three answers in a.
Morning, team. So the question, you are designing a VPC for a large insurance company. Because their data is highly sensitive, you plan to implement several security features, including security groups, network access control list, SCLs in bracket, and server-side encryption. You want to set up security groups for security at the instance level. Which statements regarding security group features are correct? Hey.
Kevin, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. I think my three choices would be B, C, D.
All in agreement?
I think maybe for me, I would go with the first one, and then the.
So you remove which one?
Let's see which one you remove. Let's see. So I think I'll remove the one of specifying allow deny rules. Yep.
All in agreement? So we have A, B, and D, and also we have B, C, D.
We can resolve the quotation if other people can put.
Yeah, we can put it on review.
Put on review. Right there.
And look at it later.
Yeah. Okay.
Need for speed, manage time, people better. Manage time better. Let's not spend more than 2 minutes per question. Huh?
Yes. So
remember, you are fighting against time. Huh?
Okay. So I think I can go on the next question. Which statement regarding VPC peering connections are correct? I have to choose three answers. First answer is you can configure VPC pairing between VPCs in separate regions. VPC peering are established using virtual private networks. VPC pairing connections establish a one-to-one connectivity only. VPC pairing are not possible between VPCs with IP overlap. So I will go with the first three.
In agreement?
Not. I think remove the. I think I have to change. The last one. Last one is still a valid answer. Let me just see which one I should remove. I think the second one and second one is the removed, and then yes, the other ones, yeah.
Yes, I will remove the second one. Yeah.
So all in agreement, we move?
Yeah, let's move.
And so maybe I read for Olu because it seems not to be able to speak. So for Olu, what does a local route within a route table enable? First option is it enables communication between VPC subnets. Second option is it enables communication only within each VPC subnet, not between subnets. It enables communication between VPC and external public IPs. And then the last option is it enables an administrator to SSH directly into the VPC resource. So Olu, you can put your answer on the chat. So Olu says A. I don't think there is any quotation. We can move to the next question. So Hilda again. Hilda, are you there? Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm losing connection. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear.
Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry, let me try again. Which choice correctly describes the differences between security groups and network ACLs? Choose two answers. Security groups operate at the instance level and are stateful and support allow rules only. Security groups operate at the subnet level and support allow rules only. Knuckles operate at the subnet level and support deny rules only. Knuckles operate at the subnet level and are stateless and support allow and deny rules. Okay, then the last one is correct. D and I'll go with D and A.
All in agreement?
Yes, no contention on my side.
Yep. So next is Kevin.
With a dash, you can mask the failure of an instance by rapidly remapping the address to another instance in your VPC. A, elastic IP address, B, private IP address, C, public IP address, D, reserved IP address. It is elastic IP address A.
So we move.
Yeah, I think we can move. Yep. So I think next is we can go to Olu. I read for you again. A dash connection creates a secure tunnel between your on-site network and your AWS network. Option 1, VPN. Option 2 is Elastic. Option 3 is VPC. And the last option is paired region. Although you can put your answer on the chat. So Olu says A. Yeah, I think there's no contention. We can move to the next. So Oscar, I don't know if Oscar is back. If he's not, you can confirm on chat if you're back. But I think we can move over to Samuel. We'll put him on bench for long.
You're in charge.
Yeah, so
Oh,
you can.
is he back?
No, he has not confirmed on chat, so you can take it off.
Okay.
You don't have
You're
time.
in a charge. You're in a charge. You are in charge of a VPC for your company. You are developing an overall architectural document for the VPC, including specify about the VPC internet gateway, network access control list, security group, and EC2 instances. You want to provide details on public IP address and elastic IP address and when you might use one over the other. What can you detail about the benefit of elastic IP address? Choose 3. A. The elastic IP address is not tied to the life of an EC2 instance. B. The elastic IP address is only built when attached to an instance. C. The elastic IP address can be moved to a new instance in the case of an instance failure. D. The loose couple provided by the elastic IP address is helpful in failover situation. So I will go with let me see, BC, and then I think IP address is only built.
You say B?
BC. Yeah, I will go with C and and A, B, and C.
So A, B, and C.
Yes.
All in agreement with that?
Yeah, I think we can move on.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think we're back to the start. Hilda, you can take it on. Yeah, I see we have also Harriet. Harriet, you can confirm if you're able to speak so that you can take on the next question. Hilda, you can start us off again.
Yeah, a customer has EC2 instances in 2 different VPCs and wants them to easily communicate with each other. VPC peering seems ideal without the need for a transit gateway, but there are some things you need to consider. Which of the following do you need to ensure are correct for this to work? Choose 2. The VPCs are directly connected with a single peering connection. The VPC CIDR blocks need to be the same. The VPC CIDR blocks cannot overlap. The VPCs both need to have EC2 instances with the same OS. C and A.
All in agreement, you say C and M?
Yeah, there is a contention. I think we can move on.
You said
No,
there's no contention.
There's no contention, yes.
Okay.
So yeah, so Harriet, if you can be able to unmute, you can take on the next question.
Yes. Yeah, let me read for this one for now. It says which of the following EC2 instances cannot initiate outbound traffic to the public internet? Select one answer. An instance with an unassigned public IP address in a public subnet. An instance with an assigned elastic IP address in public subnet. An instance with an assigned private IP address only in the private subnet with a route to a NAT gateway. An instance with an assigned private IP address only with a private subnet with no route to a NAT gateway. Cannot initiate outbound traffic. I select A, B, C, that's D. An instance with an assigned private IP address only with a private subnet with no route to a NAT gateway.
In agreement, we move.
Yeah, there is no contention. We can move. So I take on the next question. So the question is, your development team did not create a new security group when it deployed 3 EC2 instances. So the instances are associated with the default security group. The default security group is unchanged. So the rules does the default security group? What rules does the default security group enforce? So I think we have to choose 3. First option is no inbound traffic is allowed from resources outside the security group. All inbound traffic will be allowed to the instances. The instances will be able to communicate with each other. All outbound traffic from the instance will be allowed. So let's see. So that's saying choose 3. Okay. So I think I'll go with A, C, D.
All in agreement, we move. Next
Okay.
question.
Yeah, next question should be taken by Kevin.
Thanks. You want to connect a single VPC network with a company's on-premises network. You will encrypt the network traffic that travels over the public internet between the two destinations. Which AWS network connection method would meet your needs? A, being a virtual private network. B, AWS Direct Connect. C, VPC peering connection. And D, AWS Transit Gateway. The answer is A.
Agreement, we move.
Yes, we move. No contention. So the next question will be for Olu, but since he's on mute, you will just type the answer on the chat. The question goes, you can allow the instances in your private subnets in an Amazon VPC to have outbound access to the internet by placing dash inside a public subnet and configuring a route from private subnet to it. So option 1, an AWS Transit Hub. Option 2, VPC peering. Option 3, a NAT gateway. And option 4, AWS Direct Connect. Olu, you can put your answer in the chat. It's saying C. Okay. We move, yes. There is no contention. So Oscar, you can read the next question. Oscar, are you there? If Oscar is not responding, Samuel, you can take on.
Okay. You want to allow on an on-premises network to connect to a multiple separate VPC without your AWS network through a central hub network hub. what service will you need to provide the centralized network hub between multiple VPC and your on-premises network? A, VPC pairing. B, AWS VPN. C, AWS Direct Connect. And D, AWS Transit Gateway. I will go with Transit Gate. Let me see. When did we go? Centralized multiple separate VPC. Yes, I will go with Transit Gateway.
Okay, I think we can move to the next. That is Harriet.
Okay. Yes, all right. Yeah, sorry. Many pages open on my side. Getting to a question. Okay, says you need to establish a site-to-site VPN connection from your on-prem network to the VPC. For this to work successfully, which of the following need to be configured? Site-to-site VPN. 1, a public IP address on the customer gateway for the on-prem network. 2, a private IP address on the customer gateway for the on-prem network. Assign a public elastic IP, a physical instance or software application as your customer gateway. So I'll do A and B.
Okay. Yeah, let's move to the next question. We're running out of time. Hilda, you can take on the next question.
Okay, which of the following services can improve instance network performance to speeds up to 100 Gbps and is available at no cost? Global Accelerator, CloudFront, Elastic Network Adapter, Elastic Network Interface. Improve instance network performance.
Just make an dedicated case because we're running out of time.
D, you can hear me?
Yes. Okay. I think Major, you can
say
go with D. D. Okay, so next question. Let me take that on. What features of the VPC security groups are correct? Instances associated with the same security group cannot talk to each other unless rules have been added specifically to allow communication. Instances associated with the same security group can always communicate. You can specify only deny rules, not allow rules. The last option is you can change the security groups and instances associated with after launch, and changes will take effect immediately. So I will go with C, B and D. Yep.
okay, we agree, we move. So
yeah.
there was this
So,
review.
Does anyone have any comment, or we can leave it like that and then we move to check any other thing that we needed? I think we can just move with the current the way we've selected it. We can remove, we can submit.
Let's submit the exam. Okay,
okay.
we got 72%.
Yeah, we've tried today.
Okay. So this one, let's just review maybe all of the questions, but mostly the one that we got wrong. For one, the answer was the reconnect user dedicated private network connection between your internet and Amazon VPC. So this is correct. We don't need to read the description since we got it right. And now we move to question 2 also. create a private gateway and attach it to your VPC. VPC endpoints, was I want to use VPN connection bandwidth, what solution should meet the requirement? So remember that Amazon S3 and DynamoDB, when you want to connect them, use VPC endpoints. Okay. But now this one, I think this will have to read because you got it wrong.
Yeah. So I think Hilda will take that on and tell us the correct. Yeah, read for us that and then read for us the explanation.
Okay. When you add a new VPC into an architecture that uses AWS Transit Gateway, what must you do to enable it to communicate with your other VPCs? Connect the new VPC to the Transit Gateway and update your subnets routes table.
Okay. I think Major, you can maybe show us the explanation, and Hilda can read the explanation. You can scroll down to the explanation so that Hilda can read for us that. Major, is still there? Is it only me who is seeing this as the screen as frozen, or?
It's frozen.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, we can now hear you. Okay, you scroll down and Hilda can read the explanation. Yeah.
When you add a new VPC into an architecture that uses an AWS Transit Gateway, you only need to connect that VPC to the Transit Gateway and then update your subnets route table for it to be able to communicate with your other VPCs.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I've pasted the link for the reference if someone needs further reading. So let's move to the next one.
Okay, I think I'll take on that. The question was, which statement regarding VPC peering is correct? The correct answer was VPC can have peering connection with VPC A and VPC B when VPC A and VPC B have identical CIDR ranges. So scroll down to the explanation. The correct answer is VPC A and VPC B have identical block ranges, CIDR block ranges. VPC C can establish peering connection with both VPC A and VPC B. VPC A and VPC B have identical CIDR blocks, but not connected to each other. They are each connected to a third VPC, so identical CIDR blocks are not an issue. So scroll down, incorrect answer. VPC A can communicate with VPC B through their VPC pairing with VPC C. VPC pairing is not transitive. This means if VPC A is paired with VPC C and VPC B is also paired with VPC C, VPC A and VPC B will not be able to communicate just through the transitive pairing with VPC C. Each VPC pairing connection is one-to-one relations, and it will need would need to establish a direct, scroll down a bit, a direct peering connection between VPC A and VPC B if communication is required between them. VPCs with overlapping CIDR ranges cannot establish a peering connection. The CIDR blocks of the peering connections, peering VPCs must not overlap. VPC with identical block ranges can identical CIDR block ranges cannot establish a pairing, which would cause IP conflicts. Yeah, so I think we move to the next question.
I think on this one, just to add, I think maybe it was the English that someone confused, because identical, which means they share the same CIDR block, and you see they'll cause conflict. So
Yeah.
maybe identical, you think that identical mean each have its own, but now it means they share the same CIDR block ranges. So this one, just to review briefly, we got it right, which statement about direct connect is correct. They say AWS Direct Connect does not involve the internet and uses dedicated private network connection between your intranet and Amazon VPC. And this is the major distinction between Direct Connect and VPN. They are both secure, but VPN passes over the internet, but encrypted traffic. So we move this one, you have to read, it didn't get it right.
That can be handled by Kevin. Kevin, are you there? If you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, if Kevin is not able to read it off, Oscar, are you there? Of course, if Oscar is not responding, we can give it to Samuel.
Yeah. When provisioning the AWS infrastructure needed to support your resources inside your VPC, you will probably also want to stand up a dash to securely access your backend server, which you will place in a private subnet. So the right answer is EC2 Instant Connect, IEC endpoint. So can I read, Major, can you move it a bit up, please? The explanation. Okay. You probably want to stand up an EIC endpoint within your public subnet to secure access, to securely access your backend server, which you will place in a private subnet. Previously, a Bastion also would have been a viable option, but the new EIC endpoint offer the highest level of security and control.
Is speaking, you're on mute.
Okay, sorry, I was muted. When provision AWS infrastructure needed to support your resources inside VPC, you probably want to stand up and dash to secure access to your backend server, which will place in a private subnet. And then I think you have read the description about AIC endpoint, which are public subnet to securely access backend service. It probably Bastion host will have been a viable option, but the new AIC endpoint offer highest level of security and control, because initially you normally use a Bastion host that is placed in the public subnet, but now there is this thing called EC2 Instance Connect, offer more access because it's a managed service. Bastion host you have to manage on your own, and if you misconfigure, can lead to security incidents. Okay, let's move.
Major, a quick question. So
Yeah.
in case of the questioning, so now the alternative to Bastion host is EIC endpoint. So if there is a question, so they cannot question you and had Bastion and EIC together, isn't it?
Yeah, both are viable option, but now maybe the distinction where you know when to use each of which, because you see for EC2 Instance Connect, this is a fully managed instance by AWS. You don't provision the instance that is running, you'll be using to connect to your backend server. But for Bastion host, normally what you do, you normally go select an instance and then provision it in the public subnet in the same VPC as your backend server. Right, so you'll have more control over Bastion, but you see more control more power comes with great responsibility, because if you mess things, it's a Bastion host, but if you don't configure it correctly, it can also lead to security incidents. That's why they provide this EC2 Instance Connect, and why the reason here they say that it is more secure because the ports that are open are the ones that just you need to fully managed by AWS. You don't need to go and configure anything.
Okay. Thank you.
So we move. This one you got it right. I can just read for you, maybe briefly. Which statement about security groups and NACLs are correct? Security groups control inbound and outbound traffic, for instance, that through instance level. And also NACLs control inbound and outbound for your subnet. So NACL subnet level, security group at instance level. Security group you can only allow, while NACLs you can allow and deny. Let's move to the next one. Okay, this is true. Maybe someone else also can read this one just briefly.
Okay, I can read off that. It says, to meet the needs of one of your on-premise applications, you decided to increase the data transfer speeds from your site to AWS by implementing AWS Direct Connect. What two components that you need to properly implement AWS Direct Connect? Choose two. The right answers are a connection and a virtual interface. So maybe just go to the explanation, because I think this when they were answering it, the person was hesitant a bit. So there are two key components that will need to be deployed. We will need to deploy AWS Direct Connect, a connection and a virtual interface. A connection is AWS Direct Connect location, establishing a network connection from your premises to AWS region. Virtual interfaces enable access to AWS services. A public virtual interface enables access to public-facing services such as Amazon S3, while private virtual interface enables access to your VPC. Okay, I think I can move to the next.
Yeah, so I think you know that connection because made up of physical connectivity that I connect the interface. So number 10, maybe okay, let me just read for you this one. We're designing a VPC for a large insurance company. Because their data is highly sensitive, you plan to implement several security features, including security groups, NACLs, and server-side encryption. You first want to set up security group for security at the instance level. What statement regarding security group features are correct? So the correct one is you need to specify allow rules, not deny. Yeah, security group doesn't support deny rules. You can specify separate rules for inbound and outbound traffic. Yeah, we know. And this happens both for security groups and NACL. You can specify inbound and outbound. You can specify allow and deny rule. Okay, this is in contrast to not security group support. So it contrasts with the end. If A is correct, then this is not correct because security group, you cannot deny rules. Then by default, security group include a rule allowing all outbound traffic. Yes, is whereby there is no rule for inbound you need to add, but for the outbound normally allow all outbound traffic. Security group. Another one can read this one, maybe. So a different voice maybe can be.
Okay, so I think Harriet is back. Harriet, you can read for us that, and yeah.
Okay. Which statement regarding VPC peering connections are correct? One, you can configure peering connection between VPCs in separate regions. The second one is peering connections establish a one-to-one connection only. Three, peering connections are not possible between VPCs with IP address overlap. So I don't know, do we need to go to the explanations? I think it's
No,
direct.
since this one you got it right, we'll just review which are the correct answers so you can know. So the first one is that you need to configure peering connection between VPC in separate region. Yeah, support that. And now peering connection establish one-to-one connection only. That transit peering, I don't know if I can draw something here and try annotate. So if you have VPC A here, and then VPC B, and then C. So if you do a peer connection between these two, and there's a peer connection between these two. So does not mean that because these are all paired, that this can access. So this one can't be. So it's only A can access B and B can access C. So transitive pairing is whereby like this A will have connection, will have access to C through B. No. So if you need to do A to B, I think you will have to do another pairing connection. So that's the way that it happened. So transitive pairing that is not supported in VPC. Then yeah, that's why I say one-to-one connection only. Pairing connection are not possible between VPC with an IP overlap. Of course, this we have already seen in the previous question. So I think we move to the next question, number 12.
So I think Hilda can take that on.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know what has happened. I can't zoom in and I'm using my phone.
Okay. Okay. Right. Kevin, can you take it on?
Yes, I can. The question is, what does a local route within a route table enable? The correct answer there is it enables communication between VPC subnets. I think that was pretty straightforward.
Yes, yes. So we can move, Major, we can move to the next, and I think Hilda will be able to talk now. She's saying it's all good.
Which choice correctly describes the difference between security groups and knuckles? Choose 2. Security groups operate at the instance level, are stateful, and support allow rules only. Knuckles operate at the subnet level, are stateless, and support allow and deny rules.
I think this is straightforward computation. You can just move.
Okay.
So
Right,
with an dash, you can mask the failure of an, let me take this one. With the dash, you can mask the failure of an instance by rapidly remapping the address to another instance from your VPC. So this is Elastic IP because Elastic IP will be dedicated to you. So you can just take that IP, be associated with the instance that has had a failure, and then associate with the new instance. That's why we can use to mask the failure. 15.
Okay, 15. Maybe Samuel can take that on.
Okay. A dash connection creates a secure tunnel between your on-site network and your AWS network. So VPN, virtual private network.
Yeah, this is correct. And I have a question. Maybe let's go back to this Elastic IP. So how is the billing operating of this Elastic IP? When are you charged and when are you not charged? Because there's a question that was asked and you guys answered. Maybe I thought some of the selected answers selected was not right. So when will you be charged when you use Elastic IP and when you will not be charged? Okay, Jacob.
Yeah, so usually the Elastic IPs that you are charged in case you have not attached it to an instance.
Okay, so you will not be charged when you are using it, when you have attached on an instance that is running,
Yes,
right?
Yes.
Okay, because there is a question that we'll see that the answer that you provided is in contrast with what you are saying.
Okay.
And there's this one. You can see that Elastic IP is only built when you attach to an instance. And I saw that this is not the correct way.
I think because we're in the rush of time.
So when you are attached, okay, maybe someone read it and then you read those the answers.
Okay, so I think I'll give it to Harriet.
Okay, and I'm happy that I got this question because at the time I joined, yeah, I knew that answer was wrong. Okay, it says you're in charge of the VPC for your company. You are developing an overall architectural document of the VPC, including specifics about the VPC, internet gateway network access control, lists, security groups, and EC2 instances. You want to provide details on public IP address and elastic IP addresses. And when you might use one over the other, what can you detail about the benefits of elastic IP address? So they want us to choose 3. Yes, one is the elastic IP address is not tied to the life of an EC2 instance, correct? Another one says the elastic IP address can be moved to a new instance. In the case of instance failure, is also correct. Then loose coupling provided by the elastic IP addresses is helpful in failover situations. The explanations. An elastic IP address is a static IP4 address designed for dynamic cloud computing. An elastic IP address associated with your AWS account. With an elastic IP address, you can mask the failover, the failure of an instance or software by rapidly remapping the address to another instance in your account. An elastic IP address is a public IP4 address which is reachable from the internet. If your instance does not have a public IP address, you can associate an elastic IP address with your instance to enable communication with the internet. For example, to connect your instance from your local computer. Yeah, do we have something done? Yeah, I think that is it.
Okay, regarding what Jacob said, the elastic IP is only built when attached to an instance. This is not correct. If maybe you can see this link together, the docs. Then pricing, can see on pricing. So there's a charge for all elastic IP, whether they are in use that is allocated to a resource like in EC2 instance or idle created in your account but unallocated. So the moment you just request elastic IP and is allocated to you, whether you have attached it or not, it will be charges. So AWS charges for IPv4 address, including IPv4 address associated with running instances and elastic IP address. So on your free time, you can just go and see this. So you say that is only billed when it's attached. No, that's not the correct one. So, okay, I think I clicked on it. Log me out of the platform. Yes, Harriet. Whether you're using it or not, you'll be charged for the elastic IP. So I think your question.
That's why it was so interesting to me because it was on my practice account. When a bill came, I was like, what's happening? Which service didn't I delete? I need to realize it was for that.
Yes, it's because they are quite few. So AWS started charging whether you're using or not. So there'll be a charge associated with it. But initially it was you are being charged when you are not using it, but they come and change that model. So question 17, yes, feel that too. So be careful when you provision these services. Some can incur you cost and you'll be billed if you're not careful.
Yeah, I think that's where automation can come in handy. You automate so that when you destroy resources, you guaranteed, not clicking.
Yeah. So question 17, who can read for us?
So question 17, I think I can take that on. A customer has issue instances in two different VPCs and wants them to easily communicate with each other. VPC peering seems ideal without the need for transit gateway, but there are some things you need to consider. Which of the two do you need to ensure are correct for this to work? Choose two answers. The first answer is VPCs are directly connected with a single peering connection. The VPC's CIDR blocks cannot overlap. I think maybe just something to add here is I think we saw some, I think there was a question we failed because the wording of CIDR block ranges where this, as in we chose it because we thinking it's the same. So I think we should differentiate between the ranges and the CIDR blocks.
Yeah, very correct. Thank you. Well explained. We can move to the next one. I've done.
Next person is Kevin. Kevin, are you there? If you're speaking, you're on mute. Okay, if he's not speaking, I can send Samuel can take it on because
Which of the following EC2 instance cannot initiate outbound traffic? Initiate outbound traffic to the public internet. And the answer said an instance with a assigned private IP address only in a private subnet with no route to a NAT gateway.
Yeah, this is correct because if now it has no route to either if it's in private subnet, the only way communicate is through NAT gateway, and it has no route to the NAT gateway or NAT instance because there's also NAT instance. There is no way you can have communication. And what's the difference between NAT gateway and NAT instance? Since it's a revision. Yes, Jacob.
yeah, so NAT gateway is managed by AWS, so you don't have any management, patching and everything. So, but NAT instance, you have to do the management yourself. You have to define the routes, like in that instance itself. So, NAT instance, you do the management yourself, but NAT gateway, AWS manages uh, the resource.
No, very correct. And now the difference between, you see, when you place things in public subnet, they communicate the internet through the internet gateway. In private, if you need internet communication, they communicate through NAT gateway. What's the difference between that internet communication of NAT through NAT gateway and the one through internet gateway? Anyone? I remember.
I think someone else should take on that.
Yeah, I remember William was, I think was it last week or last week, but one was talking networking, and I was here briefly and explain it. Public.
Let someone can explain that. I don't want to answer take on most of the things. Let me also give other people the opportunity.
What was the question? Sorry.
The question is resources placed in public subnet, they communicate, they have internet connection through internet gateway, right?
Yes.
By default, resources placed in private subnet, no need to have internet communication, but there's a way you can do that through either NAT gateway or NAT instance. So what's the difference between communication of to the internet of private resources in private subnet and the one that are in the public?
Yeah, the thing is, the resources in private subnet is private. So the only way you can access the internet via that is NAT gateway. And the NAT gateway, when you configure it, you have to configure it in a public subnet. And the good thing about the NAT gateway is that it's a one-way traffic. So it access the internet, but it does not allow anything to come in via the network, the public network. So you can access the internet through that public subnet because it's the NAT gate. Because of this NAT gateway, there is a position configured in the public subnet. So that make the private stay private.
Okay, all in agreement. For me, I think you have facts, but not partial facts. There's things that you explain. In fact, that regarding connectivity is the one that I need from the internet. Jacob?
Yeah, I think I'd also wanted to compliment that what Samuel was saying is correct, but there are certain facts around initiation of the traffic. So with the NAT gateway, the traffic from the internet cannot be initiated from outside to the private instance that it cannot.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That is
yes,
a one-way traffic.
Yes.
Going
so
to
that
access
means
the internet.
Yes. So that means that if the private resource is trying to reach out to the internet, it's only that traffic that is moving from that has been initiated by that resource that can be got. But anything from outside cannot initiate anything for anything in the private. But for public, outside resources that are in the internet can reach out to them. They can initiate traffic to them.
Yes.
I don't know if that's clear, Mayor.
Yeah, I think that's explained correct. Some we also okay, but maybe the wording of your responses is because one way it's okay, but traffic can still come for the internet, but returning traffic. So the point was initiation.
Returning.
Yeah, returning traffic can be two-way, but it must be returning traffic from that traffic that has been initiated by the resources in the private subnet. So, like let's say updates, you have a DB that is placed in the private subnet. So you can request maybe sudo app update, and when it queries the repo, it see that there is some updates. So only those updates that they'll come back. But now outside world services cannot initiate, like they cannot be the first one to say, I need now to access these resources. No. Things like ICMP, so we cannot ping your resources in private subnet. Yeah, but in public subnet, as long as you allow ICMP, you'll be able to ping them. But in the private, even if you allow ICMP in the security group, you'll not be able to ping them.
Okay. Thank you.
And that's also correct because another fun fact is that, SSHing, you can directly SSH your instance in public subnet, right? As long as you allow port 22 in the security group of the instance. That's correct. But it's the same resources and instance in the private subnet. You cannot SSH from that instance even if you allow port 22. And that's where the things like Bastion host came into play. So you need to jump first in your Bastion host in public subnet before now maybe you can SSH that inside when you are inside the VPC. I think that make it clear.
Yes. Thank you.
Because this question, you'll not miss it. They'll like to ask it a lot. You don't get to it and get to the way you and protect it. So make sure you have a solid understanding in regarding these concepts. So let's move to the next one, 19.
Yeah, I have a question before you move on.
Okay.
So, based on all the explanation you're giving, give us a scenario where you have a web server that you're hosting on AWS and you can only initiate traffic from the private network, basically. So when you're having a web server, would it be on the public or will it be on the private?
So it will depend on your use case. If you need to access it, because if it will be front facing, that we normally call public facing, you need to place it in the public subnet. Normally, when you're designing your application, maybe 3-tier, you'll have maybe your front-end server in the public subnet and then your database in the backend, because users don't need to access directly to the database. The database just need to serve traffic to the application running in the public subnet of the instance.
Okay. So basically, you'll have the public facing, which is your website, basically the skeleton website, sitting on the public, and then the databases and everything else that you need sitting on the private.
Yeah. But also there's another thing that you can do regarding your choice. You have the flexibility. I see people normally also do this. They have instance, they place it in private subnet, and what they do, they take application load balancer in public subnet, and then they route traffic so that their instance cannot be directly accessed from the internet. So traffic will need to hit first the application load balancer before routing traffic to your instance in the private subnet.
Okay. I'm now educated. Thanks.
But you see, security also, if you increase security, it compromises usability. So even if you yourself, you need not to access to a session to the instance, you'll need to use things like Bastion host, or you need to go to the EC2 instance connect. You see that the thing that we learn. So you will need to log in into an instance that is in public before going to that private and do some configurations.
I think I'll need to read a lot around the same narrative. Thanks.
Okay, I think we can move if you're okay now. This question, someone to read on it.
I think we have Esther. If Esther can unmute. Okay, Esther is not responding.
I can read it.
Yeah, Kevin, you can take it.
So the question is, your development team did not create a new security group when it deployed 3 EC2 instances. So the instances are associated with the default security group. The default security group is unchanged. So what rules does the default security group enforce? I think the correct answers there are no inbound traffic is allowed from resources outside the security group. I think second correct answer is the EC2 instance will be able to communicate with each other. And then finally, all outbound traffic from the EC2 instances will be allowed. So the incorrect answer there being all inbound traffic will be allowed to the EC2 instance. I think that answers to what we just discussed a few minutes ago.
Yeah, very correct, Kevin. That normally, and it's for a security group, there is no any allow rule for inbound. You'll need to go and allow, but there's normally all allow for outbound. So
Outbound.
I think you need to know, yes. Next question.
Okay, so next, I think we can go to Samuel.
Okay, let me take that. You want to connect a single VPC network with a company's on-premises network. You will encrypt the network traffic that travel over the public internet between the two destinations. Which AWS network connection method will you need to will meet your needs? So it's a virtual private network, because they've talked about the encryption as well. So virtual private network VPN would be the choice.
Yeah. The talk two. Yeah, the one is encryption. The other thing is that it'll pass over the internet because direct connect doesn't use the internet. So VPN is the one that use internet, and since internet is not that secure, the thing that the security mechanism that is used to protect your traffic is encryption using tunneling. So I think that's, you can move. Next question.
Okay, so I think Harriet can take it on. Harriet, are you there?
Okay. All right, let me read it. You can allow the instance in your private subnet in an Amazon VPC. Huh? Okay. Is that the question I'm reading, 21?
Yes.
You can allow an instance in your private subnet in an Amazon VPC to have outbound access to the internet by placing dash inside of a public subnet and then configuring a route from your private subnet to it. So the correct answer is a NAT gateway. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have done so many. You're getting that gateway. You can move. No. Next question.
So Hilda can take on the next question.
You want to allow an on-premises network to connect to multiple separate VPCs within your AWS network through a central network hub. What service would you need to provide the centralized network hub between multiple VPCs and your on-premises network? The answer is an AWS Transit Gateway.
Yeah. So for multiple, we need a transit gateway rather than one-to-one peering. If you know that, we can move. The central connection point for hub where multiple VPC and the hybrid connection or on-premise network will be AWS Transit Gateway. The network suggested in this scenario would certainly include VPC peering connections and either VPNs or direct connect, but the component that connects them all is the AWS Transit Gateway. This one you got it wrong, so who's reading?
Yeah, let me read this. So the question goes, you need to establish a site-to-site VPN connection from on-premise network to the VPC. For this to work successfully, which of the following need to be configured? The correct answer is a public IP address on the customer gateway for the on-premise network, and a physical appliance or software as a your customer gateway. So that will be something like a firewall, something like that. So the explanation is you are taking taking information the public IP for on-premise network and configuring it inside the VPC. When you configure a VPN, you are configuring it from the VPC and from on-premise network. To use AWS VPC with a VPN connection, you or your network administrator must designate a physical appliance or software appliance as a customer gateway configuration. So I think what they're saying about physical appliance or software appliance here is a firewall. So you can have a software firewall or you can have a hardware firewall where you have to configure the routes and also like it having a designated public IP. Yeah.
Yes, correct. So I think we can move. Okay, this one, let me share a guide because they didn't get it right. So need to refer later.
Okay, so next person is Kevin.
Okay, question 24, which we got incorrect. Which of the following services can improve instance network performance to speed of up to 100 Gbps and is available at no cost? So the correct answer is the Elastic Network Adapter. We had chosen Elastic Network Interface. So the explanation given here, if you're looking to enable enhanced network features to reach up to speeds of 100 Gbps for your Linux compute instance, then you can do so using an ENA, that is Elastic Network Adapter. However, Elastic Network Adapters are only supported on a limited number of instances as shown below, and by instances running kernel versions 2.6.32 and 3.2 and above. In addition to 100 Gbps speeds, Enhanced Network offers higher bandwidth with increased packet per second performance, and a big bonus of enhanced networking is that it is offered at no extra cost. In fact, when launching an instance using Amazon Linux 2 or with the latest version of Amazon Linux AMI, then the instance will have enhanced network enabled by default, providing it's provisioned with one of the supported instance types mentioned earlier. I think somebody will need to elaborate this for me.
Okay, so anyone who will need to assist your colleague? Or should I take it? But you see here, they say for speed up to 100 gigabytes. So you see, by default, you use Elastic Network Interface to attach to that is attached to your instances. But there is this thing called Elastic Network Adapter, which provide like enhanced network features. And one of them is the speed of 100 gigabytes per second. So even if the question is about enhanced networking feature, at no cost, you need to use Elastic Network Adapter. I think that's the thing that we know. But another important thing is that it's not supported for all instances. There are some selected, but they won't ask you about this. Mostly they'll ask you about the features, about speed or enhanced networking features.
And
So
I
that's
noticed
the
it's only
things
for
that,
Linux, eh?
yeah, that Linux MI running 2.6 and AI is exactly. With increased packet per second, that is has high networking characteristics rather than the Elastic Network Interface. This is the default that we normally use, the Elastic, the ENI. But now if you need more, you can go for Elastic Network Adapter.
What's the maximum I can do with the ENI?
ENI?
Yeah.
$10 gigabytes.
Oh, okay.
So it gives you 10 more.
10 times more. Okay.
And there you see even my summary say, particularly those Elastic Network Adapter. So if you need more, you can achieve a significant speed, including 100 gigabytes, even up to 200 gigabytes per second using ENI.
ENA.
Elastic Network. Yeah, ENA.
Okay. Sir, thanks.
So give you 10 times more than the default Elastic Network Interface. So let's move to 25.
But Major.
Yes.
Major. You see, in that question, the previous question, they mentioned at no cost, but that is another question. We're talking about that can speed you up to 100 gigabytes. So which we are talking about ENA, which is the adapter. So and the ENI, what I'm sure about is that it comes with cost. So anytime you use the ENI, you must pay for it. So and now it's saying up to 100. That is where I was looking at. It said up to 100 GPAs per second. So the thing I'm looking at now is that it had at no cost. Yeah, that's yeah. I can understand now.
Yeah.
So you can use ENA from up to 100 or beyond 100 ENA. But it's talking about the 10 gig, the 10 GPS per second on ENI. So why are you paying for that? Is it always good to use ENA, preferable than ENI?
Yeah, if you need that enhanced networking performance, you can use the Elastic Network Adapter.
Okay. Thank you.
I think
this
was streams. Okay.
Yeah, maybe just to also just compliment on what someone has said, that ENA will only apply for Linux instances, but if you have Windows or another operating system, that means we'll have no option. We also have to use the ENI for those non-Linux instances.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
So what if you want to achieve the same speeds on Windows or any other instance which is non-Linux?
That's a good question, by the way. But you see, sometimes Windows are normally not ideal to run in a servers. That's why you see even the HPC, we have Amazon Luster for Linux. So for high performance computing, networking and stuff. So you need to find a way to use either the Linux one, because if the AWS have given you this provision, there's no way you can change them.
Okay.
The way the operating system, the kernel, the way it's attached, and the way for the Linux kernel and the Windows, they are different. So the way Linux are being is designed, it may be easier for you to have these high-end features, and that's why most servers run on Linux. So even if the AWS want, they cannot go and change the way Microsoft create their Windows in terms of kernel and will be able to support. You see, for this one, you'll have hardware, for computing, you normally have hardware, and also the software part you need to be able to support. So they work hand in hand. So even if you attach a bigger hardware, but the software has no capability regarding the way it was coded, there's no way you can support it.
Oh, so probably it's a limitation on the Windows software.
Yeah,
or the
exactly.
Microsoft,
You see the
or the
AMI, yeah,
Microsoft.
the way it's designed, especially the kernel.
Okay. So don't forget to share that link. I think it will be interesting to read that literature.
So let's move to the last one that we got it wrong.
Okay. Samuel, I think you can do the last one.
Okay. The last one. What features of VPC security group are correct? So, and now it's instances associated with the same security group cannot talk to each other unless rules are added specifically allowing communication. So, and D, he said you can change the security group that an instance is associated with after launching, and the changes will take effect immediately. So, and the explanation, instances associated with a security group can't talk to each other unless you had rules allowing it. Exception, the default security group has these rules by default. By default, a security group includes an outbound rules that allow all outbound traffic. You can remove the rules and add outbound rules that allow specific outbound traffic only if your security group has no outbound rules. No outbound traffic is allowed. Okay.
Okay, let me share this link. Is this question clear to you?
It is clear from my end. Thanks.
It's clear, yeah.
Okay, so we move to the next.
So Major and Jacob, do we give people a break and then move to knowledge check 2, or what is the idea?
I think we can do the break. I don't know how many minutes.
How long? For how long, Mr. Jacob?
Is 10 minutes okay?
Major, you are good with that? You are the boss around here?
Yes, I'm okay with 10 minutes, no problem.
Okay, 10 minutes it is. So at 11:41, Major is leading us on knowledge check 2. Is that okay, Jacob?
Yes.
Okay, people, take a bio break. Get a glass of water. Or if you love tea like I do, get a mug of tea. See you in 10 minutes. Huh?
So we are back.
Yeah, so I think the team members can react with a thumbs up to just confirm they're back. I think we could get started. Okay, Samuel has confirmed he's back. Kevin, Hilda, Harriet, Oscar, Esther, could we just confirm so I can get started? Hilda has confirmed. Harriet, Esther, I think they can join us as we start off. Yeah, Major, I think we can start off.
Okay, and before we start off, there is something I was looking at during the break regarding the Elastic Network interfaces, right? So if I may share before we move on, so that we can clear this out, to say that Major said no. Because on the Cloud Academy, they say that ENA, Elastic Network Adapter, is only supported for Linux based on version, I think, 2.3 something, and then also 3.2 and above. But Elastic Network Adapter is supported also in Windows instances. So, yeah, let me share something. So you can see that here is Elastic Network Adapter is supported in Windows-based instances on EC2. So it's only whereby in some instances they'll need to have certain kernel and above to be able to be supported. And the charges, as we said, by default, your EC2 instance when you provision, it will come with the ENI, Elastic Network Interface. It's not charged for use, but traffic will be charged. So the catch is why the question was about if at no extra charges to use is because the ENA, and EFA, the charges are already absorbed in the instance pricing. I think if that's clear.
Okay.
Because here they say charges whereby it's fundamental networking component, while Elastic Network Adapter and EFA are more advancing networking technology. ENI is part of the basic EC2 setup and are included in the cost of the EC2 instances. ENA and EFA, that is Elastic Network Adapter and Elastic Fabric Adapter, being more specialized, may incur additional cost, especially for high performance instances. So the instance that will provision that support this ENA and EFA have higher cost, and by default, the cost of using this network interface is included in the instance pricing, the billing of hourly that we'll be using. So I thought that I needed to make it clear. I think we were conversing with Kevin. Kevin, you are around. Maybe now you can know that now ENA support also window-based instances. And I also share another article from Digital Cloud that tried to distinguish between the three, ENI, ENA, and EFF, Elastic Network Interface, Elastic Network Adapter, and Elastic Fabric Adapter. So with that, I think I'll so now we are networking with two. So we can start, Jacob, right?
We can start.
Okay.
Yes, we can start.
And this time around, let's try to manage time well.
Yes, so Harriet can start us off quickly.
Okay, question one. What is Amazon CloudFront? A global content delivery network, a web service to schedule regular data movement, a development front end to Amazon Web Services, an encrypted endpoint to upload files to the cloud. It is a global content delivery network.
All in agreement? We move?
Yeah, I think we can move. There is no contention.
Next person.
Hilda, Hilda, take on the next question.
Okay. You're creating a CloudFront web distribution. Which of the following should be configured under origin settings to restrict access to an S3 bucket? Origin domain name, origin ID, origin access control, viewer protocol policy. Distribution which of the following should be configured under the origin settings to restrict. Now I have to guess C.
Okay. All in agreement? Oh, you're all not sure, you move.
Not sure. Maybe just mark it for review.
Okay.
Yeah. So next will be me. Next it will be me. Which Amazon Route 53 route policy requires you to define a record to be the primary and a different record to be secondary. There is failover, multi-value answer, geolocation, and weighted. I think I'll go with failover. Okay.
All in agree?
There is no contention, so we can move to the next. So next is Kevin.
Where does a global accelerator route traffic to reduce network latency? A, to edge locations, B, to direct connected colocation facilities, C, to VPC transit gateways, D, to VPN connections. I think it's A, to edge locations.
All in agreement, we move?
Yeah, there's no contention. Okay. And then the next person is I think Samuel, because I think Oscar has not been able to talk here. Samuel, you can
What
take
is
it on.
Amazon? What is Amazon CloudFront first step in processing filed requests? A. The request is routed back to the origin for file transfer. B. The request is routed back to the origin and then to the edge location for the file transfer. C. The request is routed to the edge location closer to the origin. D. The request is routed to the edge location, then can deliver the file with the least latency. The request is routed to the edge location. Yeah. What is the Amazon CloudFront first step? I will go with D.
No contention?
No contention. I think we move on. So back to Harriet.
Okay. You have an application load balancer set as the CloudFront origin. Which of the following solutions will secure the connection between your CloudFront distribution and application load balancer? Connection between your CloudFront distribution and application balancer. 1, signed URLs. 2, content. Okay, can you read for me? I just go now because I was.
Okay. Let me read for you the options. The first option is signed URLs. Second option is custom HTTP headers. Option 3 is geo restriction. Third option is origin access identity.
Do for me, I think HTTPS.
Okay, so she's choosing with custom HTTPS headers.
And help me mute because I can't do anything on my phone.
I can't mute. Maybe Teres or okay. I think they've muted it. Yeah, good. So next question. I think I'll take on that. So the question is, Amazon Route 53 is a service that helps you Option A, scale VPC and account connections. Option B, register a domain name and manage it worldwide. Option C, create and manage scalable blockchain networks. Option D, monitor and control microservices. I'll go with option B, register a domain name and manage it worldwide. Okay, next question goes to Kevin.
Question is, which record type for DNS is used to map a host name to another host name? The first choice is name server. The second choice is the CNAME. The third choice is the text. The fourth choice is the MX. MX is for mails. I think it's option B, CNAME.
And next is Samuel.
Global accelerators reduce the latency of which type of AWS traffic? A. Traffic from the application to the end user. B. Traffic between AWS resources within a single application. C. Traffic from edge location to an end user. D. Traffic from the end user to application. Global accelerator reduce the latency from the traffic from the end user to the application. Yes, D. D.
Okay, next question is Harriet. So Harriet, you can take us on.
Okay. Which of the following AWS networking components reduce the latency of network traffic between external users and applications hosted on AWS by directing customers traffic to AWS network infrastructure, such as edge locations and the AWS private network instead of the public internet? Elastic Network Adapter, Elastic IP Address, AWS Global Accelerator, Elastic Network Interface. It is a latency network traffic between external users and applications hosted on AWS directing customers traffic to AWS network infrastructure. I would go with it C.
Okay, thank you, Harriet. Next question is for Hilda.
Each of the choices below is a cache layer within Amazon CloudFront, except for Edge Cache Layer, Regional Edge Caches, AWS Origin Shield, CloudFront Origins. Cache Layer. I'd go with C.
Thank you, Hilda. Next person is me. The dash record type in Amazon Route 53 maps a custom host name in your domain to an AWS resource. Custom host name. So I think I'll go with CNAME. The other options are for
I think it's C.
I will go with alias D.
Okay.
I think C is the choice though.
Okay, yeah. Okay. I think we'll put that for review. Okay. Next person is Kevin.
Okay, the question is question 13. In Amazon Route 53 application recovery controller, a dash is used to turn traffic flow on or off to individual cells in regions or availability zones. I think let's go to the choices. Choice A is traffic rule group. Choice B is traffic monitoring group. Choice C is routing control. And the last choice D is routing policy. I need assistance here.
Can make an educated guess.
Okay, a dash is used to turn traffic flow on or off.
There's
You
no
need your
wrong
source.
answer.
Yeah, I'm looking at routing control, but yeah, you may have your choice anyway.
Okay, I think I'll also take you as the routing control.
I think I have a quotation there. I would go with routing policy.
Oh yeah, route. Okay, yeah, because route I don't think there's control in that Route 53's policy. Yeah. Okay.
Next, next is Samuel.
The Amazon Route 53 dash is the DNS service for VPC that integrates with your data center. A. Weighted routing policy. B. Application recovery controller. C. Traffic flow service. D. Resolver. The Amazon Route 53. I will go with D. Resolver.
Okay, thank you, Samuel. Next question is Harriet's.
When one is tracing a record in Amazon Route 53, the dash specifies the amount of time the record is considered valid. Time to leave, routing policy, traffic policy, validity rules. Time to leave, routing policy. This one, no. Amount of time. Maybe let me get A. And B. I think let me get A.
Okay, thank you, Harriet. Next question is Hilda's.
Which Amazon Route 53 routing policy requires that you use Route 53's traffic flow feature and create a traffic policy? Latency, failover, geoproximity, geolocation. Traffic flow feature and create a traffic policy. I think failover.
Okay, next question is mine. When data expires in an edge location, where can the edge location retrieve the data instead of cloud origin server, thereby reducing latency? Uh, regional edge cache, a VPC endpoint, and AWS Global Accelerator. Then the other one is CloudFront distribution. So I think, let's see. I think I will go with A. If there are no contentions, then the next person is Samuel.
Your new client is a federal agency utilizing a hybrid cloud environment. The agency distributes large amount of sensitive data throughout the world. Your task is to ensure that the data is secure using various encryption techniques as well as security groups and access control lists. One of the requirements is to distribute content utilizing CloudFront for optimal performance, but to complete restrict access from within certain disallow list country. What CloudFront feature can you enable to fulfill this requirement? A. SSL encryption. B. server-side encryption. C. Geo restriction. And D. IAM role. I will go with geo restriction.
Thank you, Samuel. Next question will be taken up by Harriet.
In Amazon Route 53, dash signifies the process of creating and maintaining records in large and complex configurations, which is useful when you have a group of resources that perform the same operations, such as fleet of web servers for the same domain. Route 53 simplifies the process. Okay, saying routing policy, application recovery controller, the resolver service, a traffic flow. I would say A.
Quotation, remove.
There is no quotation. I think we can move. The last question is going to be handled by Hilda.
Okay, when one is creating a record in Amazon Route 53, the dash defines how to answer a DNS query. Reply policy, traffic policy, time to leave, routing policy. One is creating a record, the how to answer a DNS query. I'm not very sure.
You can make an educated guess.
Routing policy.
All in agreement?
I think you can mark it for review. I would go with maybe reply policy.
I was thinking of the two.
Okay, so if Hilda was also thinking reply language and reply and then mark for review. So now review question. This was the first one. You are creating a CloudFront web distribution. Which of the following should be configured under the origin settings to restrict access to an S3 bucket? So do we still maintain the origin access control or a C?
I think there is no person differing from that. I think we can move to the next question.
Okay, this one was also in review, or you are all in agreement is an alias. I record that Route 3 maps to a custom hostname in your domain to an AWS resource.
I thought of A.
CNAME.
Yes, Kevin.
I thought of A. No, sorry. I thought of an A record, not just the choice.
So,
Okay.
so
But
Kevin
an
is
A record
saying,
is not the one that maps IP to domain name.
so yes, so that's what I'm saying. Kevin is saying A, as in he's saying C. So maybe we can just resolve that contention by people typing quickly on their chat what's the option they're going with. Are they maintaining D or they're going with C for Kevin?
Okay, just
Quickly, let's type on the chat.
or maybe react to the option that I'm sending. So there'll be C and D. So the one that has C and D.
Yeah, so going with D. Hilda is saying D.
So far D is 2.
Yes, so Kevin is saying C.
Sam, why are we not voting?
Sam, you also vote yes. I need to have at least so at least so far we have so we have three Ds. So I think we'll go with D.
Yeah. Sorry, Kevin, but we'll review. Maybe yours is the right one. We'll see.
Yeah.
So question 13, in an Amazon 253 application recovery controller, a dash is used to turn traffic flow on or off to individual cells in regions or availability zones. So first, traffic rule group, traffic monitoring group, routing control, routing policy. So what is being used to turn traffic flow on and off to an individual cell in a region or availability zone?
Guys, if you have a differing answer from routing policy, you can. No answer is wrong, so we can have that contention so that we can break that even. Seems there is no contention, so we can move to the next question.
Yeah, I was looking at the routing control anyway, but
So we go back some.
majority have it. I was looking at the routing control, but
Okay, that's fine.
it depends on what we choose, what everyone.
You say you're looking at C, option C, Sam.
Yes, I'm looking at option C, but depends on the majority.
So anyone
maybe
that is in agreement with Sam?
I'll still maintain the D. Other people can type their answers. Are you choosing C or D? Guys, let's type on the chat.
I think I'll choose C.
Okay, Sam, I think Harriet is supporting you.
We are having two C's. One so far, so I've only been the one who has typed D. So guys, we can type on the chat so that we can break even on which answer we're going with. So Harriet is saying C. Somebody is saying C. So since guys are quiet, we'll switch over to C. Hilda also is saying C. Yeah. Okay, so we can go with C. Okay. So Major, if you're speaking,
sorry, I was muted. Yeah, sorry, I was muted. When one is creating a record in Amazon 3, the dash defines how to answer a DNS query, reply policy, traffic policy, time to leave, that is TTL, and also routing policy. So what defines how to answer a DNS query? How is about how to answer. So the educator guess that was given was reply policy. Are we all in agreement to option A? This is let me question 20.
I'm looking at traffic policy, but depends what we have.
So Sam is for B. So anyone is in agreement with someone? Kevin has been typing for like 10 minutes. So guys, let's clap.
My network is bad. I hope.
Okay. So I think Kevin, you're retaining D. So I think let's type which ones we're going with. I think Kevin is saying retain D.
I think that one was the previous question. That was previous question.
Ignore my chat. My network is bad. It's just flapping up and down.
Okay.
Guys, should we change to B, traffic policy, or should we maintain reply policy?
So guys, let's choose between reply policy and so between A and B. So let me go with the B. Which other person was selecting B? You just let's chat, put it on the chat so that we. So Kevin is going with A. Hilda is going with B.
Of course, some B. So I think B have it. Let's see.
Yeah, B have
Some,
it.
if you are confused, people will see.
Okay. All right. Okay, submit.
This one was a tricky one. 80 out of, and the last one, some. I just wanted to go to this one. Reply policy. Okay, it is not even reply or traffic, it's routing policy. The last one.
Wow.
So let's just go in order. I was curious with the last one because what is Amazon CloudFront, a global content? Okay, this is self-explanatory, CDN. We have learned so many times, so no need to explain and spend time on this. Let's move to the next one. I think this we can maybe read. You are creating a CloudFront web distribution. Which of the following should be configured under the origin settings to restrict access to an S3 bucket? So the correct answer is origin access control, or SC. While origin or AI provides origin access information, provides the secure way to access S3 origins to CloudFront. It has limitations such as not supporting granular policy configurations. HTTP and HTTPS requests that use the POST method in AWS region that require AWS signature version 4, SIG-v4, or integrating with SSE KMS, server-side encryption, key management service, to strengthen security and deepen feature integrations. Today, we are introducing origin access control. So initially, we were using origin access, I think. Information was what? OAI. A new feature that secure S3 origin by permitting access to design distribution only. So yeah, initially we're using OAI, but now they're using origin access control. And that's why they did not put the OAI, because we are used to this, not to confuse you, but there's a better version. So I hope that's clear.
So I have a question. I am not sure if it's actually related to that or probably to be slightly out. So if when you have a CDN, my content is seated in South Africa, my database is seated in South Africa, but then I have a CDN seated in the US, for example. What is cached? Does my database also get cached there?
No. You know that database will not be cached there. They frequently access data that will be cached in the edge locations. You know that all database is being migrated to the edge locations.
Okay.
And also that data normally has TTL, time to live. After a specific duration of time is deleted, because there's no need to store data that is not needed. So when the data is requested, is being sent and then saved there for a specific period of time. If it's keep on being accessed, still it will maintain in the edge servers. But as long as it's no longer relevant, let's say it will now be deleted. As a good example can be during election time. People might be needing to access, if you're configured to CloudFront, the election result. But after the election, will anyone be needing to know the result after you know who's the winner? No. So there's no need to keep all data on the edge locations.
So basically what is cached is the front-facing kind of services. So if it's my web server, just the web server itself is just cached, but then the database.
The data. No, your data is sent there, data. So if it's for...
Okay.
It's not your okay, Jacob, can you go ahead?
Maybe to explain to Kevin that it is, for example, if you search something, if I'm searching maybe something about maybe soccer, maybe Arsenal, that will be cached because I'm the one who has initiated the traffic. So that's what is cached, that query about Arsenal. So if I do another query again concerning Arsenal, I'll just pick it. Those would already be cached for me. If I don't do that query for some time, it will get deleted. So it's based on what the end user is querying or trying to. That is what is cached, not what the server has.
Okay. Yeah, just to add on, Kevin, is the data that will be users' request, not the application that will be migrated. Another good example can be maybe, let's say, YouTube. So if you say YouTube is in the US, but us in Africa here, maybe there is something that is trending. So you'll find that some videos load more faster than others because maybe those videos are in the top trending. So they'll be catch closer to us. So when you try to stream, it will stream very fast.
Ah, I get you.
So
I
you
get
see
you.
what is catch there is the data, the video, the data, but not the application YouTube that is bring closer to you.
Okay, okay. I think that thanks. I think that that explains it. So wait, let me ask. So if I'm interested to have, I'm a service provider, I'm the owner of YouTube, and I'm interested to make the people in Uganda, for example, to access my YouTube, the YouTube website faster. Is there a way then I can get the YouTube application or the YouTube website as is closer to the people, probably reduce the data. Let's forget about the data for now. Make it easy for them to access the website itself.
Yeah, so you see, for CloudFront does not limit you to just people in Asia. So when you configure CloudFront, it will be for users that are closer to you. So it will see the request, this request, where does it come from? It's from Asia. So the person requested, query your database, take that video, save it in the audio cache while serving your customer. And if the people from Asia continue requesting the same data, we retain there for some time. If it's no longer in use, in demand, sorry. So what we'll do, if the TTL, time to live, that expires, to be deleted from the cached edge location. That is no longer be cached.
Okay, okay. I saw. Thanks.
But a quick question: Can you extend the TTL?
Extended.
Major.
Yes.
When time to leave. When it expires, you still want your data, your uploaded more video or something like that to still be accessible. So can you extend the TTL? When the TTL expired, it automatically deleted or removed. But can you make it just remain by extending the TTL, or time to life cannot be extended?
Yeah, you can. Okay, maybe Jacob was wanting to answer you there. Jacob, please go ahead.
Yeah, so maybe I just wanted to compliment around something around what Kevin had talked about, and then maybe just add on what Samuel is asking. So for Kevin, you should know that AWS is a world. It has edge locations around the world. So if someone is in Uganda, they will reach out to the closest edge location near to them. So that is where the request would fall. So it doesn't matter where I deploy my application. Once I have set CloudFront on it, it will at least have cache locations where it is near to the requester. So that's how it operates. Then to speak to Hassan, as into to Samuel, when it comes to the time to live, yes, you can extend, but I think there is a limit to it. There is a maximum time to live number. Just forgetting off my head of the value, but there is a maximum. Yes, you can extend it, but of course that will only apply for the data that has not been that is still available. But if it has
Okay.
expired, it will not. Even though you extend, it will not cater for that.
All right. Okay. That's good enough. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, so no need to waste time. You can configure, you can extend it, but remember what Jacob said. You cannot extend it forever. There always has a limit regarding how can you extend there is the data to reside in the edge locations. Let's move on. But there's no place that will ask you the maximum amount of hour that can reside. No, there's no way that can ask you that. So this, I think you got it right, which Amazon 53 routing policy requires you to define a record to be a primary and a different record to be as a secondary. So of course, this is failover routing policy. I think you're all conversant regarding all the routing policy, their characteristics and their distinction between them. So where does a global accelerator route traffic to reduce network latency? And I think that I realized about this second test, it was all about Route 53, CloudFront, Global Accelerator, and edge locations. Those are things that we're trying to test you on. So do we have any need for any more clarification on this question, the edge locations?
I think it is pretty straightforward.
Okay, so someone else can just read as we proceed so that we can have a change of.
Okay, so
voice.
Harriet can take it on.
Okay. What is Amazon CloudFront's first step in processing a file request? The correct answer is the request is routed to the edge location that can deliver the file with least latency.
You can just read the description on this one, even though we got it right.
So Amazon CloudFront speeds up distribution of your static and dynamic content through its network of edge locations. When a request for a file is made, CloudFront does not route the request to the web server for transfer of the file. The request is routed to the closest edge location that can deliver the file with the least latency, which checks its cache for the file before routing the request back to the web server for the latest file version. The request is not routed to the web server initially, but rather the cache at the edge location is checked before the web server request is made. The request is not cached in the edge location, the file is. I think this relates to what we've been discussing earlier, the explanations.
Yes, very correct, Harriet. Yeah, you make use of edge location. It is not specific configure just for Asia people. When you configure CloudFront, make use of all global edge locations. But now it will depend. If most of your users are located in the one region, so majority of data will be cached there, and it will be the one that will be serving them. But if someone in the US requested, it will also be cached in the US edge location and can serve from there. Next, someone can read this one also.
Hilda can take on the next.
You have an application load balancer set as a CloudFront origin. Which of the following solutions will secure the connection between your CloudFront distribution and the application load balancer? The answer there is custom HTTP headers.
Yes, and if I'm not wrong, I think Hilda, the one also answered this one.
No, I answered.
I did, I remember this one.
Oh, it was Harriet. Yeah, it was Harriet. Yes, it was the network. So to secure connection between a CloudFront distribution and the application load balancer, we can do the following. So apart from that, first, configure CloudFront to add a custom HTTP header to requests. When creating or editing your CloudFront distribution, add a custom header. A custom header will be included in each request sent to the origin. Next, you configure an application load balancer to only forward requests that contain a specific header. To do this, we need to select the listener configured on the load balancer and edit its rules. So yeah, the first step is the TP header, and then the next one is about application load balancer for requests containing the header. So next step can come on the second part of need to do so, need to be aware of all the steps. Next question.
The next question, I can take it on. The question reads, Amazon Route 53 is a service that helps you. The correct answer is register domain name and manage its and manage it worldwide. Yeah, I think there is no explanation, but it's straightforward.
But yeah, for me, I have a question for this one.
Yes.
What services does AWS Route 53 service provide apart from registering domain? What other service can you do with Route 53? It's a service that will not miss a question in the solution architect exam. You must find a question regarding Route 53. So the first one, you can register domain and manage. Yes.
Resolving DNS domain names, resolving like from IP addresses to the domain name.
Yeah, of course, done that resolving of the IP to domain name. Yes. Kevin, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it can also do the work of preventing some a country that you don't want it to access your data or access your information. So like a security or something like that, like preventing some particular um, organization or resources to access your data. So like a work of security. I think, yeah, he also do that kind of services over.
Okay, let me ask another question
Yeah.
regarding this.
So,
Say, okay, Jacob,
okay.
please go on.
Yes. So maybe what I wanted also to highlight is also something concerning traffic, where we could handle things like these policies where we have how we route traffic. I think that's also another service that can help with.
So if I may ask, maybe like I can stimulate you. Here, the answer was about you can register your domain and manage it. What about if I have my own domain? How can Route 53 help me with that? I can
I think
bring my own,
domain name.
what and man. Yes.
You can bring your own domain name. I'm just forgetting how the
I think because it's AWS managed services, so it help you to be able to keep your domain name in check. So it can give you more protection over your domain that you brought into AWS. So it help you manage it.
So I can bring my own domain. You see, there's bring your own IP, so bring your own domain, bring your own device. So I can bring my own domain. Maybe I have registered with Hostinger or any other GoDaddy, and then I can be able to transfer it to Route 53 and manage it from there. Right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes,
it's not only I need to buy the domain from Route 53 from AWS. I can buy the domain that I bought it somewhere else. So what I can do, I can transfer it from that domain provider and then transfer it to 53. There's some setting I need to do, not go into details of that, and then I'll be able to manage it. And of course, the management part includes things like also domain renewal and stuff. So it's good to be conversant of the capability of Amazon Route 53 has to offer.
Okay.
So which record type for DNS is used to map host name to another host name? So this one was straightforward, was the CNAME. In full is canonical name. So what about the MX record?
I think that is for mail.
Okay, what about the text? What about the name server? What the name server does?
So maybe from the context, usually that if for example, if I think we have seen names is like like load balancers. There are those names that are provided to the endpoint. For example, if I have a domain example.com and I can have a subdomain targeting maybe specific servers. If I have maybe web servers.example.com, so I could use that canonical name to refer to them as a group.
So okay, pardon, can you, I was writing something here. We say, what is the name server used for?
It's used to refer to resources, for example, like for Elastic load balancer. Usually it has a canonical name, because if you would have used an error code if the resource I'm talking to has an IP address, but for this case the resource is not using an IP address.
So
I don't know if that clarifies.
yeah. Okay, I'll come and explain for this one later. We have more clarity on this one. But let's just know, what about the error code?
I think error code is what I've just said. If the resource that we're trying to target has an IP address, then you can use an error code.
So this is IP to domain and domain to IP.
Yeah.
Okay. What about quad A? That is 4A, quad A.
I think that is if the I think the difference there is for A alone is like version 4, IP version 4, and then the quadro A is for IP version 6.
Okay, what about alias? Or alias is the error code.
I think someone can speak to that. I don't want to take on most of the. I also want to give opportunity to other people to speak to the alias.
I think if I may try the alias is where you have different domain records pointing to the same resource. Let's say google.com, google.co.ke, google.co.ug. Then .co.ug, that is google.co.ug is an alias of google.com, because I want to assume google.com will be the primary domain. I don't know if that's correct.
Okay, and this one regarding text. Did we do the text?
Okay, text. The little thing I understand about the text record is a security record that is normally input when you're dealing with mails, even though I don't have much info around that. Probably I'll need to research first.
Okay, the mail is the MX. The MX is the one that deals with mail exchanger.
Yes,
But the
the
text
mail.
record, if maybe I can assist you, the text record is the one, a text document that contains information regarding the domain, maybe the servers and all the stuff. Now the name server, you see for domain, there is root 53 is like an application. So there must be now the application server that normally now do the resolution. So we call them the name server now. They contain the information. If you go maybe to, okay, let me clear my notation and then edit this thing. If you go to who is domain, I think there is a domain, I can look for it. Let's see. Let's open domain. So you see, this is the domain, and then maybe registered on. So this is you see now this is the servers. So this domain was registered in AWS. So the server that I used to manage it, AWS server. You can see NS name server 152. So the domain service provider will have some server distribution for redundancy that will be used to do the resolution. Now they call it the name server. So for this one, I can know that this domain is being managed. So it's not guaranteed that was registered by AWS, because you can see here, the registrar, since it's the co.ke, AWS does not support registering of local domain like co.ke. So it was registered by Host Africa ESC. But it is not being managed by the registrar, it's being managed by AWS. Reason being, you can see here after the point 1526.aws DNS, AWS DNS, AWS DNS. So the domain service provider will use more than one server to manage your domain for redundancy, so that if one server is down, let's say 1526, maybe 675 will be used to do the resolving. And also, if also this is down, so you have like 4. So it's very rare that all these servers will be down. And you can see somewhere in the UK for this, maybe it's in uk.co.uk, and this is in US, mostly .com, a normally US-based domain, and maybe .net and then .org. So these are what we call now the name server, the one that do the actual resolution, either from IP to domain or from domain to domain.
Okay, probably
So,
okay.
so the .txt record will have such information like this now. This will be contain about the domain. So maybe domain name, Koenig, who is the registrar, who's managing the expiry date, and all the stuff, the TXT record. So any question regarding, it's very, very important to get an understanding of domain. Is a very crucial topic, and you will not find a question, you'll not miss a question, sorry, in the exam. So understanding what each record is all about, service that it provides, the capabilities and limitations. So for this one, you can see the registrar is still hosts Africa. So what you can do, you can just transfer the management to AWS and still maintain the registrar to host Africa. If I may do, I think I have my own domain here. You can see I register in AWS. But my domain now is I registered it in AWS and I'm being managed with AWS. So let's take enigma.net. Yeah. So you can see now the contrast. Still is being managed by AWS, but the registrar still is AWS, because I registered using Route 53 and I'm still managing it using Route 53. So it will have AWS DNS servers. And I registered this year on 2nd, 25, and then it expires next year, 2026. So you can transfer the whole domain and the management, but you can also transfer that's just the management. So the management is whereby you'll change the name servers. And also if you transfer all the domain to AWS, maybe if you don't know just like AWS, you'll transfer the management and also the renewal. So AWS will be built, will be the one pay AWS for renewal. But when you transfer a domain or the full domain to AWS, you need to be sure that the domain is being supported under the supported domain in Route 53. Otherwise, it will not happen, because there are some list of domain that AWS support. And that's why maybe the previous thing that we look at it, that courses. Let's go back to this. If we go, so they registered because they could not maybe register in AWS because AWS does not support this domain .co.ke. So they just had to shift the management for easier for them, because maybe the application is running on AWS. So managing it will be easier. Things like generating certificate validation, to be able to validate certificate, because the server that will be used to validate the certificate will be residing, they are all in AWS. The certificate authority and servers that manage your domain are still in AWS. So is that clear about domain, some bit about domain names and stuff, unless you have any other question. Yes, Jacob and your colleagues.
Yeah, no,
Somebody is okay.
I was just giving a thumbs up. So yeah, we can move on to the next.
Yeah. So let's move to the next question. Someone can read, please.
Yeah, so I think I can take it on. The question reads: Global accelerators reduces the latency of which type of AWS traffic? The correct answer is traffic from the end user to the application. Maybe just let me read through the explanation. The correct answer is traffic from the end user to the application. AWS Accelerator is designed to improve the availability and performance of applications for global users. AWS Global Accelerator uses the AWS Global Network to direct traffic from the end user to the nearest and healthiest application endpoint based on health, routing policies, and the geolocation of the user, thereby reducing latency. Yeah. So I think this is in contrast to CDN, as we were seeing how the CDN, but this is more targeted to the application, and I think it speaks to Kevin properly. That if you're targeting an application, this is where now the global accelerator would look at the application itself being readily available.
Yeah, because this works a bit different. They are both working towards latency, improving on latency, but this one will just be using the AWS private links, high-speed links to just accelerate the traffic to and from your application. And also remember, still, CloudFront make use of the network, the AWS global network, still to route traffic to the edge locations. But the routing is not to direct to the user, to the edge location, then edge location now to the users.
Yes.
So the next question.
Kevin, you can take on the next question.
Question 10. Which of the following AWS networking components reduces the latency of the network traffic between external users and application hosted on AWS by directing customer traffic to AWS network infrastructure such as edge location and the AWS private network instead of the public internet? The correct answer there is the AWS Global Accelerator. I think the explanation given there is the ultimate aim of AWS Global Accelerator is to get UDP and TCP traffic from your end user clients to your applications faster and quicker and more reliably through the use of the AWS global infrastructure and specified endpoints instead of having to traverse the public internet, which is not as reliable and carries a higher security risk.
So, yeah, correct. Thank you. So if I may ask now, there is a question here because this second exam was about Route 53, CloudFront, and AWS Global Accelerator. What's the difference between AWS CloudFront and Global Accelerator? How do they differ? They both work toward the same goal, reducing latency so that users cannot experience any latency by being served the data that they request from the application. But how do they differ in operation in terms of characteristics and how they operate and how they improve this latency? Maybe even on the OSI layer, which layer does CloudFront operate? Which layer does AWS Global Accelerator operate? Kevin, your hand was up.
No, it is me. Okay, Kevin was okay. Kevin can go first.
Okay, let me give it a try. I won't answer to the layer probably, but I'll give it a try. So the CloudFront would basically caches the data, as we had earlier answered. It caches the data on the edge location. So if I'm caching my application is seated, my data is seated in South Africa, but then it's being cached in the US, basically to reduce on the latencies. The differing from the global accelerator where traffic is not getting cached, but basically you're using the AWS global infrastructure to move the traffic faster, quicker, or reliably, as they aptly put it, between the application, which is seated in South Africa, still on the same example, to the same user who is accessing the data from the US. So it makes it quicker by using the AWS global infrastructure, but not caching the traffic.
Yeah, you are very correct. But one question, Jacob, before I go to Jacob, does AWS CloudFront not use AWS Global Infrastructure? The
CloudFront,
CloudFront
it
now.
does. CloudFront uses the AWS infrastructure by caching the traffic.
No, global infrastructure, like the links to route traffic from where your data is residing in the region to the edge location. So on top of the global infrastructure of the links, CloudFront now add on top of it now the edge locations, because now for the CloudFront does not do caching, but just accelerating. Okay, I think that I wanted to make it clear on that one. Now, maybe Jacob?
Yeah, so maybe let me speak to it from the lengths from layers. So I would say CloudFront operates on layer 7, and then Cloud Accelerator operates on the network layer, where we have now the UDP and DCB traffic. So another thing is the way I'm looking at it is for CloudFront, I'm catching data requested by the user, but with the global accelerator, I would just say that you giving priority to traffic from specific users and to a specific application. So instead of it going through, for example, if I'm in Uganda, instead of maybe my traffic going through Kenya and different, with Cloud Accelerator, I'm just directed within AWS infrastructure. That means I'm able to reach my application quickly. I don't have to go through different path. So I think there will be an optimal path with AWS infrastructure that can allow me reach to my application directly to get whatever I want. But with CloudFront, it will drop me to the nearest edge location that is near for me. If I'm a person in Uganda, wherever the edge location for AWS is near, if it is in South Africa, that means that will be where my first query would go to. I don't know if that's clear.
Yeah, that's clear, very clear, Jacob. And that maybe brings me another question. The first time that you have configured AWS CloudFront, what happens if there is no cache that is in the edge location? Maybe let's say the website I'm trying to access, maybe it's YouTube, and YouTube is in the US, they're using maybe US East 1. And I'm trying to access YouTube, but when I request the first time, that data had not been cached in my edge location. So what will happen? What does the process look like?
Okay, maybe let me put that just into context. So let's still use the example of saying that my edge location is in South Africa. So that means my request will hit South Africa. It is now the edge location in South
Hilda
Africa.
wanted to explain that, Jacob?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
No, I
Yeah,
have a question.
you had a question.
Yes.
Okay, so
Okay,
should
can I
Jacob
finish?
continue or should you? Okay, shoot your question first.
Oh, I thought you would continue, but I have understood Route 53 because it uses the caching. I don't think I understand Global Accelerator. I know and just say it uses the resources. I think I need better explanation there, please.
Okay, then okay, we'll come to you. Then maybe give Jacob to finish his explanation first.
Yeah, okay, fine. So I would say that my request will hit South Africa. That's the edge location for AWS that's available. If what I'm requesting for is not available in the edge location at South Africa, is the edge location of South Africa that will query where the resource is. If it is in ISO instance or is in the US, yes, it will now reach out to that to catch that in the edge location where I am, where I made the request to. So I think that is how it happens.
Okay, yeah, very correct. And then yeah, the request will make from your server, from the server in the US, be able to request that data. And then you use the AWS private link to send data to South Africa first, and then catch there, and then from there serve to me, and then it will be keep on serving as long as the DTL has not expired.
Yeah.
So Hilda questions was about how global accelerator operate in regard to CloudFront.
Can I give it a try to answer Hilda so that you correct me? Probably just my
Okay, I give it a try first, then Kevin, please go ahead.
So if I'm to give an example, if we are doing the accelerator, if I'm to query a service, an application which is seated in the US, the default, without using the accelerator, the traffic would be going through internet. So basically from Nairobi to Mombasa, wherever it will go to the to where the application is hosted, which is for this example is the US. For the accelerator, on the other hand, I am assuming there is already an infrastructure for AWS, which is connecting Nairobi to the US. So it would be going through the different nodes that the public network would go through, but basically it would be going through a private network that AWS has built to be able to connect the different sites that they have. I don't know if that is correct.
Yeah, that's correct. That's very correct, Kevin, because now the distinction, let us now help Hilda to understand here. We have CloudFront and we have Global Accelerator. They both have the same goal, to improve performance, application performance, whereby if you are trying to access a service from AWS, does not have any latency. So I think we are all have conversant with AWS global infrastructure, where we have regions, we have the interconnectivity, we have availability zones. So with CloudFront, make use of edge location. That is the primary way of serving. But now, the data now need to transfer from your region where the application is, using the AWS global network, transferring to the edge location that is closer to me, the way Jacob was trying to explaining. Like for me now, it will be South Africa, but South Africa, is a region, it's not an edge location, in fact. So maybe if we could have an edge location here in Kenya, it will be transferred to that edge location, and I'll be able to serve. And when the data is transferred to that edge location, it resides there for a while. I know, Hilda, you understand CloudFront, but maybe let's explain so that I can, when you go to CloudFront, global accelerator, you have the distinction. It will stay there. There's the TTL where you can configure it. And I think some will ask if it is configurable. Yes, you can configure, but there's a maximum amount of time data can reside. So that's how CloudFront operates. Now, when it comes to AWS Global Accelerator, as the name suggests, accelerate data movements. I'm requesting the data. Instead of passing through the internet or some where there's latency, it will make use of AWS global network, the interconnection, high-speed link, to transfer that data now to closer to me. It doesn't use caching, so it will just be serving me, and that's will all. If I request again, the same thing will be happening. That's the distinction. And also, if you need now to understand between the distinction, AWS Global Accelerator is operating at layer 4. So the protocol used will be things like UDP and TCP, while on the CloudFront operate at layer 7. So layer 7, it will be HTTP traffic. So this HTTP serving HTTP traffic, this one at layer 7, this one serving UDP and TCP, which are the protocol for layer 4. So they both use AWS Global Network. But now this CloudFront will be using this AWS Global Network to send traffic to the nearest edge location for caching, while Global Accelerator does not catch anything. You just send and serving me, that's all. There's no caching or caching. So any kind of sound. Okay, I think Hila says she's okay. Then you can move. Now this one, he didn't get it right. Whose question was this? Okay, someone can just read for it for us and then we review it. But it was all our question because it did not content.
Okay, let me just read off that. Each of the choices below is a category within Amazon CloudFront, except for except the correct answer is CloudFront Origins. Maybe just the explanation down there is, although we have discuss CloudPhone as a single cache. Actually, CloudPhone has 3 caches in layers. CloudPhone distributions, there exist over 300 Amazon Edge locations globally, region edge caches, and at the same time of writing, there are 13 regions edge caches and AWS Origin Shield, an additional layer cache in the layer between your region caches and the origins. Origins Shield is not enabled by default. You must enable it for each origin in the distribution you create. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I think that's maybe the confusion that we need to select. It's not enabled by default origin shield, but it's part of the caching layer. So we'll have origin shield, regional. So you see, as I said, the example that maybe Jacob was saying about South Africa. South Africa is a region, but also region also have edge location. We have region edge location. So by those we'll have now regional edge caches. And then we also have now the edge caches layer. Those will be edge cache that are not tied to any region. And we'll also have AWS Shield, because Shield can also be used for CloudFront for protection for DDoS, right? So, but it's not enabled by default. If you enable it, you have that layer. And then, but CloudFront origins, these are not layers for cloud. So I think we move to the next question.
Kevin, you can take on the next question.
Thanks. The dash record type in Amazon Route 53 maps a custom hostname in your domain. What is that? There's something I can't see there. In your domain, something yet. Sorry, let me repeat. The dash record type in Amazon Route 53 maps a custom hostname in your domain to an AWS resource. Alias is the correct answer. I think I remember I was contesting this and I was saying it's A. So the explanation is the alias record type is unique to Amazon Route 53 and maps a custom hostname in your domain to an AWS resource, which is usually represented by an internal AWS name.
Yeah. So by now you know A record, what it does, quad A, CNAME, and then alias.
Okay, so if I just expound on what I'm understanding is, so basically what it's saying that AWS resource would have a name which is very local to AWS, and then now you're mapping a domain name to that name.
Yeah. Example can be also load balancer. You normally have URI, uniform resource, and I think locate a
URL.
Not URL. URL is for URI, uniform resource information. So things like AWS load balancer. So you can even map your domain name to an application load balancer. Instead of mapping it to an IP address, you can map it to an application load balancer, that unique ID.
Okay, I get you.
I think, I don't know if you have time, but you could have logged in and tell you can see application load balancer, the ID that normally generate. And when you go to your account, you can be able, even it's an part of an option to see if you can use an alias. And when you use an alias, there's a drop down, you can select load balancer. And then if you have provisional load balancer, it will be automatically selected. Or if you have more than one, you'll have to select one of them.
Okay. I think I'm educated now. Thanks a lot.
Okay, you're welcome. This one, just in case of someone needs further reading, I'll share with it. Next question, this one you got it right.
Next question is Samuel.
Yeah, in Amazon Route 53 application recovery controller, a dash is used to turn traffic flow on and off to individual cell in regions or availability zone. Routing control. Can I, okay, yeah. Explanation said the routing control is used to turn traffic flow on or off to individual cell in region and or availability zone.
Okay, that's. I think for this one you had selected routing policy 10 at the last minute, if I'm not wrong.
No, I was saying it's routing control.
No,
But
we had selected the one that choose the answer, selected
yeah.
routing policy, but we changed the last minute. Some you lead the contention, lead the and then everyone now joined you, routing control. So it's now the next question.
This question should be taken by Harriet now.
Okay. Amazon Route 53 dash is the DNS service for VPCs that integrates with your data center. So the answer is Amazon Route 53 Resolver. The Route 53 Resolver is the DNS service for VPCs that integrates with your data center.
Thank you. So any okay.
Just help me put that link on the chat. I need to read more on 53.
Yes, I'll do that. So we move. Link is on the chat for someone who needs further reading.
Okay, thank you, Harriet. Next is Hilda.
When one is creating a record in Amazon Route 53, the dash specifies the amount of time the record is considered. Yeah, the record is considered valid. Time to live. When you create a record using Route 53, you specify the record name, the record type, the actual value, the time to live in seconds, and the routing policy for this record. The time to live specifies the amount of time the record is considered valid.
Yeah, and also known that is TTL also in CloudFront, the time in which your data will be still to reside in the edge location before it's invalidated and deleted. So let's move. This one got it wrong. I think this question was about Sam. Sam, how did you get it?
No. I went for geo proximity. But
Why did you not content?
Yeah, we did content. We did I think we talk about
So we
that
all
as
failed.
well.
So can you, Sam, please lead us in this question to read it?
Yeah, which Amazon Route 53 routing policy required that you use Route 53 traffic flow feature and create a traffic policy? And the geo proximity explanation say the geo proximity routing policy required that you use Route 53 traffic flow feature and create a traffic policy.
Yeah, so let me share this link. I think these routing policies, you need to be more, they're normally tricky, but you need to understand them. So the link is also on the chat. You can just read on your own later.
Okay, I think Kevin can take the next question.
Thanks. So the question is, that's question 18. Your new client is a federal agency utilizing a hybrid cloud environment. The agency distributes large amounts of sensitive data through the world. Your task is to ensure that the data is secure using various encryption techniques as well as security groups and access control lists. One of the requirements is to distribute content utilizing CloudFront for optimal performance, but to completely restrict access from within certain disallow list countries. What CloudFront feature can you enable to fulfill this requirement? The correct answer is geo-restricting. And the explanation we have there, you can use geo-restriction, also known as geo-blocking, to prevent users in specific geographical location from accessing content that you distributed through a CloudFront web. I can't see what is below that. You can scroll down.
Okay.
Okay. To use geo-restriction, you have two options. First option, use the CloudFront geo-restriction feature. Use this option to restrict access to all the files that are associated with the distribution and to restrict access to at country level. The option 2, Use a third-party geolocation service. Use this option to restrict access to a subnet of the files that are associated with a distribution, or to restrict access at a finer granularity than the country level. So the answer was geolocking, yeah? Geo-restriction, rather.
Yes. Yeah. So we move. Now this one, now we get it wrong.
Yeah, so I think Harriet can take that.
Yeah, question 19 says, in Amazon Route 53, Dash simplifies the process of creating and managing and maintaining records. I don't know, something is hidden there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I can see now. In Amazon 53, Dash simplifies the process of creating and maintaining records in large and complex configurations, which is useful when you have a group of resources that perform the same operation, such as a fleet of web servers for the same domain. The correct answer is traffic flow. Traffic flow simplifies the process of creating and maintaining records in large and complex configurations. This is useful when you have a group of resources that perform the same operation, such as a fleet of web servers for the same domain. Okay, let's have this link also in the chat for further reading.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you,
So-
Harriet. Yeah. Next question is Hilda.
Sorry, can you hear me? When one is
Yes.
creating a record, when one is creating a record in Amazon 53, the Dash defines how to answer a DNS query. The answer is routing policy. When you create a record using Route 53, you specify the record name, the record type, the actual value, the time to live in seconds, and the routing policy for this record. The routing policy for a record defines how to answer a DNS query.
Yeah, I think Major, thank you, Hilda. Major, you can also add this to the chat. Okay, thank you, Major. So I don't know if you have any comments before we give it to Teres to wrap it off.
Yeah, so for me, regarding what I've seen here, this question, you think you guys go and read more about Route 53, CloudFront, and global distribution accelerator story. In this networking part, normally people take it for granted, but it's good to have a good foundation on it. Can come in handy because you'll not miss those questions. For internet gateway, NAT gateway, for those, I think the basic stuff you have gained knowledge, but also these other supporting services like Route 3, CloudFront. But I think CloudFront, you guys are okay. Maybe the global accelerator and 53, those are the things too that you can maybe read upon. Terence, I think I don't have any other addition. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Major. I mean, we are immensely grateful, and I don't know. I mean, Harriet, you were in that class. How was it? Some feedback. Harriet, how was it?
Sorry, last week or this one?
I'm saying this one today. You were in this knowledge check. You are the ones. I'm told the proof of the pudding is in the eating. You were there. How was the session?
This session was so good, and we did not just only go through the answers, but even gained more knowledge in the explanations. And Major took us through, not necessarily on the questions, even some other concepts. It was really very good. Yeah.
All right. We are done and dusted with networking, connectivity, and content delivery. And I'm also happy. I can see it's not like it was impossible. You guys could cope with it, but I think Major said, not even Major, your own outcome was showing the routing policies. We need to go there and do some more work. Next weekend, I will be here, maybe Major will be here, but I think I'll be here. And next weekend, we will be doing pre-knowledge check for the database section. What I will do is between today, tomorrow, and the day after tomorrow, I will aggregate content that you people need to read. I think we are moving to the database side of things. Major, I don't know if I'm right or I'm wrong, but let me confirm very quickly. I do believe we are moving from, we've so far done compute, we have done storage, we have just completed networking, connectivity and content delivery. And I am just confirming like now, yes,
database.
We are moving to databases. So next weekend, it's still a knowledge check, but a pre-knowledge check. Make a point of attending the pre-knowledge checks. Why? They help you see, you know, you already did databases at CCP, but they also help you see what have you forgotten since we last did the cloud practitioner. And then they help you have a torch to light into the darkness of where you are going with the databases. I don't know. Maybe Jacob, you can tell me the way we are going about it with the pre-knowledge check, then an instructor-led session, then a proper knowledge check after the section. Is this adding value or is it just a time sink? We are wasting time. Are you feeling like you are growing or?
No.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is good because at least it tries to shape you to know what the gaps are before even going through the session.
Excellent. Because that is exactly what we want. You know, the problem with us is we only come to class only once a week, and then 2 weeks or 1 week you are on your own. So we try not to take chances because this is also a best effort. You are not like somebody who attends class daily. So it's best effort. But even as we make best effort, we ensure it's comprehensive. We first look at what are the loopholes of what we've forgotten since we did cloud practitioner. Then we go into an instructor-led session. Then we reconfirm what we studied in class. Did we really get it? Or as Major says, education is what you are left with after you leave school. Of course, you forget every other thing, but the ones that matter to your daily operations, those ones you don't forget. So that is that. And yeah, next week, I think we'll go into the knowledge check for databases. The next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to make an effort to ensure I push to our good friend Isaac anything and everything that can help you refresh on databases. And then we start going towards that module. And we'll keep on being that comprehensive to ensure that on the day you arrive for the exam, when we are just doing certification and exam prep, you are armed to the teeth and ready to give at least a few answers, or if they give you a punch that bloodies your nose, you can also give 2 or 3 other punches in response. So I think I will wish you a very restful weekend, and God willing, we link up again on Saturday to do a pre-knowledge check on databases. If there is no any other issue or announcement, Jacob, I think we can end there for today, yeah?
Yeah,
Just
thank you.
in time.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
we're
a nice
just
one,
in
everyone.
time. Okay, bye-bye. We see you when
Bye,
you see us
everyone.
again.
Just a moment.
Harriet.
Yes, just a moment. Yes.
Yes, Harriet.
So, yeah, so I'm just wondering, is there a way we can also have access to these questions of the topics we have done?
In the past,
Something
it was easy because we could even we could abstract those things and blah, blah, blah. But nowadays, okay, I used to make PDFs. In the past, let's say like 5 years ago, when I was on those platforms, I used to make PDFs. And then I think they noted people using their content and they really locked it down. Are you still on AWS Educate? I'm asking.
They've taken long going there.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. But
And
I think
are there people here with WizLab accounts? That is for the Uganda group, because the other vast majority of our people still use WizLabs. Anybody with WizLabs? And Harriet, have you opened, beyond the Educate, have you opened a Skills Builder account?
Yeah, I have a skill builder. That's where
How
I
is
do.
the content there? The CSA and CCP content, how is it over there? You know that belongs to AWS, at least it's in order.
Yeah, it is good. It's good. That's
Yeah,
what I use
so
in the skill builder.
yeah, that is those are mainly the platforms we are leveraging on. But mainly maybe WizLab for the purchased ones. Those who have purchased, that one we always recommended. It's good, it's quite broad, and it's not only, what is it, the videos and the knowledge checks, there's also the lab simulations, the laboratories are there. And you need that hands-on at this level. The other level, CCP last year, I could forgive you if you are not doing hands-on, but this one, no way out, no chance. You must.
Very,
So I
Yes,
think
yeah,
Major.
if I'm not forgetting, I used to have a PDF practice test for CSA Digital Cloud. So I can try to locate for them and then I'll send them that one.
Okay,
Just
okay.
PDF.
Major will look for more content and we will definitely
Where is
share.
this, practice
Mm.
question? Solution that
But I think we are also building, as we do the chapter quizzes, the knowledge checks we are also building some body of knowledge together. So just take the course. At the end of everything, when everything is said and dusted, even if we have two, if we have at least two people, we will still carry on. Even if we have two people, beyond the instructor-led sessions that we are doing currently, we will also go into what we would call an exam and certification preparation. I'm sure, Harriet, you've seen that this is a different ball game compared to practitioner. So even the examiner's state of mind and how you should prepare for the exam at this level will be totally different. We will walk with you, do not worry. We will make arrangements to ensure we walk with you along the path, and we will aggregate everything. That we learn from day zero until that very last day, and then we ensure that those who want to certify well. I don't know how many are still waiting to do the cloud practitioner, and when do they want to finish it? Oscar, I think you are one of them. Because I think by end of June, if you are still struggling with the cloud practitioner, you will be lagging behind. So anyway, it is what it is. Let us see you again, God willing, on Saturday next week. Bye-bye.
okay, bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Au revoir.
Have a nice one. Bye.